The stars looked beautiful from the bridge of the Resolute. Commander Jake Miller stood near the wide observation window and watched them shine in the darkness of space. He had been a soldier for 15 years. He had seen many battles, but he never got tired of looking at the stars. "Commander, we are entering the Outer Rim," said Emma Cole. She was the tactical officer on the ship. She was smart and quick. Jake trusted her completely. "Good," Jake said. "Keep the sensors running. I don't want any surprises out here." The Resolute was a small ship. It was not built for war. It was built for watching and reporting. Their mission was simple. Go to the Outer Rim, look for signs of the Vexery. Come back home. The Vexery were aliens. They were tall, almost 8 feet. They had gray skin and sharp claws. Their eyes were black like the empty space between stars. They believed they were better than every other species in the galaxy. They especially hated humans. They called humans weak, small, easy to kill. Jake did not believe that. He knew what humans could do when they had to fight. "Anything on the sensors?" Jake asked. Tom Hayes looked up from his screen. He was the combat specialist. A big man with strong hands and a calm voice. "Nothing yet, Commander. Space is quiet." Jake nodded. But something felt wrong. He could not explain it. It was just a feeling in his chest. Like something bad was coming. He was right. The attack came fast. One moment, the space around them was empty. The next moment, 3 Vexery warships appeared from behind a nearby moon. They must have been hiding there, waiting. "Contact!" Emma shouted. 3 ships. "They are locking weapons." "Shields up. Get us out of here," Jake ordered, but it was too late. The first blast hit the Resolute hard. The ship shook. Lights flickered. Alarms screamed. "Engines are down." Tom yelled. "We can't run." Another blast. And another. The Resolute was a small ship. It could not take this punishment. Jake knew they were finished. "All hands, prepare for boarding," Jake said into the ship's communication system. His voice was calm. "Fight as long as you can. Make them pay for every step." The Vexery ship connected to the Resolute. Jake heard the sound of metal cutting through metal. They were coming in. He grabbed his weapon and stood near the door. Emma and Tom stood beside him. Other crew members gathered behind them. They were scared. Jake could see it in their eyes. But they did not run. They were humans. They would fight. The door exploded inward. Vexery soldiers poured through. They were huge. Their armor was black. Their weapons hummed with deadly energy. Jake fired. He hit one in the chest. It fell, but more came. Too many. The fight was short and brutal. The humans fought hard. They killed many Vexery, but in the end, there were just too many enemies. One by one, the crew of the Resolute fell. Not dead. The Vexery wanted them alive. They used stun weapons to knock them down. Jake was the last one standing. He fought until a Vexery soldier hit him from behind. The world went black. When Jake woke up, he was in a cell. The walls were metal. The air was cold. His hands were bound with heavy chains. Emma and Tom were in cells nearby. They were alive. That was something. "Commander," Emma whispered. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine," Jake said. His head hurt. His body ached. But he was alive. "Where are we?" "Vexery flagship," Tom said. "I heard the guards talking. They're taking us somewhere important." Jake pulled at his chains. They did not move. He looked around the cell. There was no way out. Not yet. Hours passed. Maybe days. It was hard to tell. The Vexery did not give them food or water. They wanted to make them weak. They wanted to break them. Then the door opened. A Vexary walked in, but this one was different from the soldiers. She was tall, even for her species. Her armor was decorated with symbols of rank. Her eyes were cold and cruel. She moved like a predator. "I am Rilith," she said. Her voice was like ice. "I command this fleet. You are Commander Jake Miller. You lead the human ship." Jake looked at her. He did not speak. "Your species is weak," Rilith continued. "You are small, soft. You feel pain so easily. But you have information I need. The defense codes for your planet Earth. Give them to me." "No," Jake said. Rilith smiled. It was not a kind smile. "You will give them to me. Everyone breaks. Humans break faster than most. I won't tell you anything." Rilith stepped closer. She raised her clawed hand and struck Jake across the face. Hard. His head snapped to the side. Blood ran from a cut on his cheek. The pain was sharp and hot. She raised her hand to hit him again. But this time, Jake moved. Fast. He caught her wrist in his bound hands. He held it tight. He looked into her black eyes without fear. Rilith's face changed. Shock, then anger. No human had ever touched her like this. No prisoner had ever dared. She pulled her hand back with great force. "Don't lay a hand on me again," she hissed. Her voice was filled with rage. "You are nothing. You are a weak, pathetic creature from a weak, pathetic world. You will learn your place." Jake looked at her. Blood dripped down his face. His body hurt. His chains were heavy, but he smiled. It was a small smile, defiant, unbroken. She saw that smile. It made her angrier than anything else could have. She turned and walked out of the cell. The door slammed shut behind her. Tom stared at Jake through the bars of his cell. "Commander, are you crazy? She could have killed you." "Maybe," Jake said. "But she didn't, and now she knows something important." "What's that?" Jake wiped the blood from his face. His smile grew wider. "She knows we don't scare easy. She knows humans don't break just because someone hits them. And that scares her more than anything we could have done." Emma nodded slowly. She understood. "You're playing a long game." "The longest," Jake said. "They think we're weak. They think we'll give up. But we won't. We're going to get out of here. We're going to stop whatever they're planning. And we're going to make them remember why they should have left Earth alone." The cell was cold. The chains were heavy. The future was dark. But Jake Miller sat in that cell with blood on his face and fire in his heart. He was not beaten. He was just getting started. Days passed on the Vexary flagship. Jake did not know how many. There were no windows in his cell. No clocks. Only the cold metal walls and the heavy chains around his wrists. They gave him water once a day. Food came every 2 days. Just enough to keep him alive. Just enough to keep him suffering. But Jake did not break. The Vexary guards came every morning. They asked the same questions. Where are Earth's defense stations? What are the codes to the planetary shields? How many warships does Earth have? Jake gave the same answer every time. Silence, or sometimes a smile. The guards did not like the smile. They hit him for it. They kicked him. They used their shock sticks on him until his body shook and his vision went white with pain. But when the pain stopped, Jake always looked up at them. And he always smiled again. Word spread through the ship. The human would not break. The human would not scream. The human just kept smiling. Emma heard the guards talking outside her cell. "There is something wrong with him," one guard said. "He feels the pain. I see it in his eyes. But he does not care. It is like pain means nothing to him." "Humans are strange," another guard replied. "Perhaps he is broken in a different way. Broken in his mind." "No," the first guard said. His voice was quieter now, almost afraid. He is not broken. That is the problem. I have never seen anyone refuse to break like this. Emma smiled in her cell when she heard this. Jake's plan was working. He was getting inside their heads. Tom was doing his part too. He talked to the guards whenever they came near. He asked them questions. Simple things. How long have you been a soldier? Do you have a family? What is your home world like? The guards told him to be quiet. They told him prisoners do not ask questions. But sometimes they answered anyway. People like to talk about themselves. Even alien soldiers. Tom learned things. He learned that the Vexery flagship was called the Iron Fang. He learned it was heading somewhere important. And he learned that many of the soldiers were nervous. They had heard stories about humans. Stories about how humans never gave up. Stories about how humans could survive things that would kill other species. Those stories were getting louder. Every day, Jake refused to break. On the 5th day, Rilith came back to Jake's cell. She stood in the doorway and looked at him. Her face showed nothing, but her eyes were different than before. There was something new in them, something uncertain. You are still alive, she said. Sorry to disappoint you, Jake replied. You have been beaten every day for 5 days. Most species break after 1 day. The strongest break after 2. But you refuse to give us anything. Jake shrugged. It hurt to move. Everything hurt. But he did it anyway. Maybe you're not trying hard enough. Rilith walked into the cell. Her guards stayed outside. She stood over Jake and looked down at him. He was smaller than her, weaker. His body was covered in bruises and cuts. He should have been terrified. He was not. Why do you resist? Rilith asked. You must know you cannot win. Your ship is destroyed. Your crew is captured. No one is coming to save you. If you give me the codes, I will make the pain stop. I will give you food, water, rest. All you have to do is talk. I know what you'll do with those codes, Jake said. You'll use them to attack Earth. You'll kill millions of people. Families, children, people who never did anything to you. They are humans. They are weak. Their deaths do not matter. They matter to me. Rilith tilted her head. She did not understand. In her world, the weak existed to serve the strong. If the weak died, it was because they deserved to die. That was the natural order. That was how things had always been. You would suffer all this pain for people you have never met? She asked. Yes. Why? Jake looked up at her. His eyes were tired. His body was broken. But his voice was strong. Because that's what humans do. We protect each other. We fight for each other. Even when it hurts. Even when we know we might lose. We do it anyway because it's right. Rilith was quiet for a long moment. Then she raised her hand. Her claws were sharp, deadly. She could kill him with one strike. You should be afraid of me, she said. I'm not. I could end your life right now. You could, but you won't, because you need those codes. And if you kill me, you'll never get them. Rilith's hand came down fast. Jake was ready. He caught her wrist again, just like before. He held it tight and pulled her closer. Their faces were inches apart. He could see his own reflection in her black eyes. Don't lay a hand on me again, she whispered. Her voice shook with anger. Jake smiled. That same defiant smile. The one she hated. Make me. For one moment, everything stopped. The guards outside held their breath. Emma and Tom watched through the bars of their cells. The air itself seemed to freeze. Then Rilith pulled back. She did not hit him. She did not kill him. She just stood there, staring at this small, broken human who refused to act like a prisoner. What are you? She asked. I'm human, Jake said. We don't break. We don't kneel. And we don't give up. No matter how many times you hit us, we get back up. No matter how much pain you cause, we keep fighting. That's what we are. That's what we've always been. Rilith turned and walked toward the door. She stopped at the threshold. She did not look back. I will break you, she said. Eventually, everyone breaks. Not me, Jake replied. Not my crew. Not ever. Rilith left. The door closed. The cell was quiet again. Emma's voice came through the darkness. Jake, are you okay? I'm fine. Jake leaned back against the cold wall. His whole body screamed with pain. But inside, he felt something warm. Something strong. You're crazy, Tom said. You know that, right? You keep grabbing her hand. One day, she's going to cut it off. Jake laughed. It hurt to laugh, but he did it anyway. Maybe, but did you see her face? Did you see the way she looked at me? She looked angry, Emma said. No, she looked scared. For just a second, she was scared of me. Of us. Of what we represent. The Vexari have conquered dozens of species. They've never met anyone who wouldn't break. They don't know how to handle it. Tom was quiet for a moment. Then he understood. You're not just surviving. You're fighting a different kind of war. Exactly, Jake said. We can't beat them with weapons. Not yet. But we can beat them up here. He tapped his head. We can make them doubt. We can make them afraid. And when the time comes to fight for real, that fear will make them weak. The night cycle came. The lights dimmed. Jake closed his eyes. Tomorrow would bring more pain. More questions. More beatings. But tomorrow would also bring more chances. More opportunities to plant seeds of doubt. More moments to show the Vexari that humans were not weak. Humans were just getting started. And somewhere, in the deepest part of her mind, Rilith knew it too. She would never admit it. Not to her soldiers. Not to herself. But in that moment when Jake grabbed her wrist and smiled, she felt something she had never felt before. For the first time in her life, she wondered if she might lose. On the 10th day, everything changed. The guards moved Jake to a different part of the ship. A bigger room. More cells. And more prisoners. Humans. Dozens of them. They had been captured from different ships. Different missions. Some were soldiers like Jake. Others were scientists, engineers, even civilians who had been in the wrong place at the wrong time. They came from all over Earth's territory. Now, they were all here, locked in the dark belly of the Vexari flagship. Emma and Tom were brought to the same room. Jake felt relief when he saw them. They were hurt, tired, but alive. Still unbroken. Commander, Emma whispered as she was pushed into a cell near his. What's happening? Why did they move us? Jake looked around. The guards were setting up more cells. More chains. They're gathering us together. All the human prisoners in one place. That's either very good or very bad, Tom said. It's both, Jake replied. Bad because it means they're planning something big. Good because now we have numbers. Over the next few hours, Jake watched the other prisoners. Most of them looked defeated. Their heads hung low. Their eyes stared at the floor. They had given up hope, but some of them were different. Some of them still had fire in their eyes. Jake made note of everyone. When the guards finally left, Jake started talking. His voice was quiet but clear. It carried through the room. My name is Commander Jake Miller. I was captured 12 days ago. The Vexari have beaten me every day since then. They want information about Earth, defense codes, military secrets. I haven't told them anything. The prisoners looked up. They stared at Jake. His face was covered in bruises. His lip was split. His body was thin from lack of food. But he stood straight. He looked strong. I know some of you have given up, Jake continued. I know you think there's no way out. But I'm here to tell you that you're wrong. We're going to escape. We're going to stop whatever the Vexari are planning. And we're going to make them regret the day they decided to capture humans. A man in a nearby cell laughed. It was not a happy laugh. It was bitter, broken. You're crazy. Look around you. We're chained up. We're weak. We're surrounded by enemies. How exactly do you plan to escape? I don't know yet, Jake admitted. But I'll figure it out. That's what humans do. We solve problems. We find ways. We never stop trying. Pretty words, the man said. But words don't break chains. A voice came from across the room. Young, female, strong. No, but people do. Jake turned toward the voice. A young woman sat in one of the cells. She looked younger than the others. Maybe 25 years old. But her eyes were sharp, alert. She did not look defeated. Who are you? Jake asked. Lily Parker, communications officer. I was on the research vessel Phoenix. The Vexari took us 3 weeks ago. She paused. I've been listening to the guards, learning their language, watching how the ship works. I know things. Jake felt a spark of hope. What kind of things? I know this ship is heading to Earth. They have a weapon in the lower decks. Something big. The guards call it the World Breaker. They say it can crack a planet's crust. The room went silent. Every prisoner heard those words. A weapon that could destroy Earth, their home, their families. When? Jake asked. His voice was tight. 2 weeks. Maybe less. They're waiting for their fleet to gather. Then they'll attack. 2 weeks. 14 days to escape. 14 days to stop a weapon that could kill everyone on Earth. Jake's mind raced. It seemed impossible. But impossible was just a word. Humans had done impossible things before. We need more information, Jake said. Lily, can you keep listening? Learn everything you can about the weapon, the ship, the guards? Lily nodded. I can try. Jake looked at Emma. The ship's systems. If we could get access to a terminal, could you hack it? Emma thought for a moment. Maybe. Vexari technology is different from ours. But code is code. If I can study it long enough, I can figure it out. Tom, we'll need fighters. People who can handle themselves in a battle. Can you identify the strongest prisoners? The ones who haven't given up? Tom was already looking around the room. I see a few. Give me time. I'll find more. The bitter man spoke again. This is madness. Even if we somehow escaped these cells, we'd be on a ship full of enemies. We have no weapons, no allies, no way to call for help. Actually, Lily said slowly, that's not entirely true. I found something. A storage room near the communications array. The Vexari put all our equipment there. Our tools, our devices, our emergency beacon. Jake's heart beat faster. An emergency beacon. If they could reach it, if they could send a signal to Earth. That's our target, Jake said. We get to that storage room. We grab the beacon. We send a message to Earth. Reinforcements could be here within days. But even if they come, the bitter man said, they won't arrive in time. You said 2 weeks until the attack. Earth's fleet would need at least that long to reach us. Then we do more than send a message, Jake replied. We take this ship. We stop the weapon ourselves. Silence. Complete silence. The prisoners stared at Jake like he had lost his mind. Take the ship? A handful of weak, chained humans against hundreds of Vexari warriors. But Jake was not looking at the doubters. He was looking at the believers. the ones with fire in their eyes. He saw it in Emma, in Tom, in Lily, and in others around the room. Not many, but enough. "I know it sounds crazy," Jake said. "I know the odds are against us. But I also know what we are. We're humans. We crawled out of caves and built cities. We crossed oceans in wooden ships. We put footprints on the moon. We faced extinction over and over again, and every time we survived. Not because we were the strongest, not because we were the smartest, but because we never gave up, ever." He paused. His eyes moved from face to face. "The Vexri think we're weak. They think we'll break. They think they've already won. That's going to be their biggest mistake. Because tonight, we start planning. Tomorrow, we start preparing. And when the time comes, we're going to show them what humans can do when our backs are against the wall." Lily smiled. It was a real smile. The first one Jake had seen since he was captured. "You really believe we can do this?" "I don't believe it," Jake said. "I know it. Because I've seen what's in this room. I've seen people who've been beaten and starved and tortured, and they're still alive. They're still thinking. They're still fighting in their hearts. That's all we need. That spark. That refusal to quit. Everything else will follow." The bitter man shook his head. But even he looked less certain now. Less defeated. Over the next few days, they worked. Lily listened and learned. She discovered guard schedules. She found weak points in the ship's patrol patterns. She memorized the path to the storage room. Emma studied every piece of Vexri technology she could see. She watched how the guards used their weapons. She noted the patterns in the cell locks. Tom talked to prisoners. He found soldiers who still wanted to fight. He found engineers who knew how machines worked. He found ordinary people who had lost everything and wanted revenge. And Jake planned. He took every piece of information and built it into something bigger. A plan that was crazy. A plan that was dangerous. A plan that might get them all killed. But it was also a plan that might save Earth. On the night before they moved, Jake gathered everyone who would listen. His voice was quiet but strong. "They think we're weak because we feel pain. But pain is just proof we're still fighting. Tomorrow night, we take this ship. Tomorrow night, we show the galaxy what humans are made of. Are you with me?" And in that dark room, surrounded by enemies, chained and beaten and far from home, dozens of human voices answered as one. "We're with you." The spark had become a flame. And soon, that flame would become a fire. The ship's lights dimmed for night cycle. The guards changed shifts. For exactly 3 minutes, the prison room had only 2 guards instead of 6. That was the moment Jake had been waiting for. Lily had done her job. She had learned exactly how the cell locks worked. She had watched the guards enter their codes hundreds of times. She knew the pattern. "Now," Jake whispered. Lily reached through the bars of her cell. Her fingers touched the small panel on the outside. She pressed the code. For one terrible second, nothing happened. Then the lock clicked. The door swung open. The 2 guards turned. Their eyes went wide with shock. They had never seen a human escape before. They had never imagined it was possible. They did not have time to call for help. Tom was already moving. He had been a soldier for 20 years. He knew how to fight. He knew how to kill. Even without weapons, he was dangerous. He hit the first guard hard. His fist connected with the alien's throat. The Vexri made a choking sound and fell. Tom grabbed the guard's shock stick and swung it at the second guard. The weapon crackled with electricity. The guard dropped. 10 seconds. That was all it took. 2 guards down. 1 weapon captured. Tom unlocked Jake's cell. Then Emma's. Then the others. One by one, the prisoners stepped out of their cages. Some were weak. Some could barely stand, but all of them were ready to fight. "Remember the plan," Jake said. "Group 1 goes with Tom. Secure the weapons storage. Group 2 goes with Emma. Take control of the ship's systems. Group 3 comes with me. We're going for the command deck. What about the beacon?" Lily asked. "You know where it is. Get to it. Send that message to Earth. Let them know we're alive. Let them know what's coming." Lily nodded. She was scared. Jake could see it in her eyes. But she was also determined. She would not fail. The prisoners split up. Each group moved through the dark corridors of the ship. They were quiet, careful. They had no armor, few weapons. Their only advantage was surprise. It did not last long. An alarm started screaming. Red lights flashed everywhere. The Vexery knew. Someone had found the unconscious guards. Now the whole ship was awake. "Run!" Jake shouted. His group moved faster. They could not be careful anymore. Speed was their only chance now. They had to reach the command deck before Lilith could organize her forces. Vexery soldiers appeared in the corridor ahead. 5 of them, big, armed, dangerous. Jake did not stop. He could not stop. He ran straight at them. The first soldier swung its weapon. Jake ducked. He felt the blade pass over his head. He grabbed the soldier's arm and twisted. The soldier screamed. The weapon fell. Jake caught it and kept moving. Behind him, other prisoners fought. Some fell. Some did not get up. But others pushed forward. They picked up weapons from fallen enemies. They kept fighting. 3 corridors. 2 more groups of guards. More humans dead. But more Vexery dead too. Then Jake saw it. The door to the command deck. Big and heavy. Built to survive attacks. But it was open. Just a crack. Someone had left in a hurry. Jake pushed through the door. The command deck was huge. Screens covered every wall. Control panels glowed with alien symbols. Windows showed the stars outside. And in the center of it all stood Lilith. She was alone. She had sent her guards to fight the uprising. She had not expected anyone to reach her. "You," she said. Her voice was cold, but her eyes showed surprise. "How? You underestimated us," Jake replied. "That's been your mistake from the beginning." Lilith pulled a blade from her belt. It was long and curved. The edge glowed with purple energy. One cut from that blade would kill. "I will not make that mistake again," she said. She attacked. Lilith was fast. Faster than any human. Her blade cut through the air like lightning. Jake barely dodged the first swing. The second caught his arm. Pain exploded through his body. Blood ran down to his fingers. He swung his captured weapon. Lilith blocked it easily. She was stronger than him. Better trained. She had been fighting since before Jake was born. She kicked him in the chest. He flew backward and hit a control panel. His vision went dark for a moment. When it cleared, Lilith was standing over him. Her blade was raised for the final strike. "You were brave," she said, "for a human. But bravery is not enough." She brought the blade down. Jake moved. He did not know how. His body just acted on instinct. He rolled to the side. The blade hit the floor where his head had been. He kicked at Lilith's legs. She stumbled. He got up. His body screamed at him to stop. His arm was bleeding badly. His ribs felt broken. Every breath was agony. But he got up. Lilith looked at him. For the first time, there was something in her eyes that looked like respect. "Why won't you stay down?" she asked, because that's not what humans do. They fought again. This time, Jake was smarter. He did not try to match her strength. He dodged. He waited. He let her attack and attack until she made a mistake. It came. A swing that was too wide. Rilith was getting frustrated. She was used to enemies who gave up. She did not know how to fight someone who never stopped. Jake moved inside her guard. He grabbed her blade arm with both hands. He twisted with all his strength. The blade fell from her grip. He caught it. He pressed it against her throat. Rilith froze. Her black eyes stared into his. "I told you," Jake said. His voice was rough with pain. "You don't scare me." For a long moment, neither of them moved. Jake's hand shook. He was so tired, so hurt, but he held the blade steady. "Kill me then," Rilith said. "That is what a true warrior would do." Jake looked at her. He saw the proud warrior who had captured him. He saw the cruel commander who had ordered his torture. He saw an enemy who would destroy his home without a second thought. He lowered the blade. "No," he said. Rilith blinked. "What? I'm not going to kill you. You're going to watch. You're going to see your ship fall. You're going to watch humans take everything you built. And you're going to live with that memory forever." He hit her with the handle of the blade. Hard. She collapsed to the floor. Unconscious. Jake stood there for a moment, breathing, bleeding. Alive. The door behind him burst open. Tom came through with a group of prisoners. They were armed now. They had taken the weapons storage. "Commander!" Tom shouted. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine," Jake said. It was a lie, but it was a lie that mattered. Status report. Weapons storage is ours. Emma has control of the ship's systems. She's locked out the Vexery from their own computers. The remaining crew is surrendering. The weapon? The World Breaker? Disabled. Emma found the controls and shut it down. It can't hurt anyone now. Jake felt something release in his chest. They had done it. Against all odds, they had actually done it. Lily's voice came through the ship's speakers. She must have reached the communications array. "Message sent. Earth received our signal. Fleet is already moving. They'll be here in 3 days." Cheers erupted around the command deck. Humans hugged each other. Some cried. Some laughed. They had been prisoners. Now they were victors. Jake walked to the window. He looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, Earth waiting. His home. His people. "We're coming back," he whispered. "And we're bringing one hell of a story with us." Behind him, Vexery prisoners were being rounded up by humans with captured weapons. The ship that was supposed to destroy Earth was now under human control. The impossible had happened. Humanity had won. 3 days later, the United Earth Fleet arrived. Jake stood on the command deck of the Iron Fang and watched the ships appear from hyperspace. 1, then 10, then 50. Warships from Earth. Carriers, battlecruisers, the full might of humanity's military power. They had come to rescue prisoners. Instead, they found the prisoners and rescued themselves. The fleet commander's voice came through the communication system. "This is Admiral Sarah Brooks of the United Earth Fleet. We received your distress signal. We are prepared to engage hostile forces." Jake picked up the microphone. His voice was tired but strong. "Admiral Brooks, this is Commander Jake Miller. There's no need for combat. The Iron Fang is under human control. The enemy weapon has been disabled. We have Vexery prisoners and their fleet commander in custody." Silence. Then the Admiral spoke again. Her voice was filled with disbelief. "Commander Miller, please repeat. Did you say the flagship is under human control?" "Yes, ma'am." "It's a long story. I'll tell you when you get here." More silence. Then Admiral Brooks laughed. It was a good sound. A human sound. "Commander, I've been in the Navy for 30 years. I thought I'd seen everything. You just proved me wrong." The Earth ships docked with the Iron Fang. Soldiers came aboard. Medical teams rushed to help the wounded. Engineers began studying the Vexury technology. Everyone wanted to hear what had happened. Jake stood at the airlock and greeted Admiral Brooks personally. She was a tall woman with gray hair and sharp eyes. She looked at Jake's injuries, at the blood still drying on his clothes, at the exhaustion in his face. "You look like hell, Commander," she said. "Feel like it too, ma'am." She smiled. It was a small smile, but it was warm. "You did something impossible here. You know that, right? I had help. A lot of help. Every human on this ship fought for this victory. A lot of them didn't make it." Jake's voice grew quiet. "We lost good people. I know. And they'll be remembered. Heroes, every one of them." Jake nodded. He tried to speak but found he could not. The weight of everything was finally hitting him. The fear, the pain, the deaths. All of it. Admiral Brooks put a hand on his shoulder. "Get some rest, Commander. That's an order. We'll handle things from here." Jake wanted to argue. He wanted to stay in control. But his body had other ideas. His legs felt weak. His vision was blurry. The doctors had done what they could, but he needed real medical care. He needed sleep. "Yes, ma'am," he said. As he walked toward the medical bay, he passed the room where Rilith was being held. She was awake now, sitting in a cell, chains on her wrists, just like he had been not so long ago. Jake stopped. He looked at her through the bars. Rilith looked back. Her eyes were different now. The cruelty was gone. The pride was broken. She looked like someone who had lost everything and did not understand why. "You won," she said. Her voice was flat, empty. "Yes. I don't understand how. We are stronger than you, faster, better warriors. We have conquered dozens of species. None of them ever fought back like you did." Jake thought about her question. He thought about the days of torture, the planning in the dark cells, the fight on the command deck. All of it. "You made a mistake," he said. "You thought strength was about muscles, about weapons, about how much pain you could cause. But that's not what strength is. Then what is it? Strength is about how much pain you can take and still keep going. It's about fighting when you have no chance of winning. It's about protecting the people you love, even if it costs you everything." Jake paused. "That's what humans have. That's what you never understood." Rilith was quiet for a long moment. Then she asked the question that had been burning in her mind since the battle. "Why didn't you kill me? You had the blade at my throat. You could have ended my life. Any Vexury warrior would have done it. Any member of any species would have done it. Why didn't you?" Jake looked at her. He remembered that moment on the command deck. The blade in his hand. The enemy at his mercy. "Because killing you wouldn't have proved anything," he said. "Dead enemies can't learn. Dead enemies can't change. I wanted you to live. I wanted you to see what humans could do. And I wanted you to spend the rest of your life knowing that we beat you. Not with cruelty, not with hate, but by being stronger in the ways that actually matter." Rilith stared at him. Something changed in her face. It was small, barely visible, but it was there. "I have spent my entire life believing that mercy was weakness," she said. "Every species we conquered, we destroyed. Every enemy we captured, we broke. That was our way. That was who we were. Maybe it's time to try a different way." Rilith did not answer, but she did not look away either. Jake left her there. He walked to the medical bay. The doctors treated his wounds. They gave him food, clean water, a real bed. He slept for 18 hours straight. When he woke up, Admiral Brooks was waiting for him. "Your report has been sent to Earth," she said. "The whole planet is talking about what you did. They're calling you a hero." Jake shook his head. "I'm not a hero. I just did what any human would do. Maybe, but not every human gets the chance to prove it. You did, and now the whole galaxy knows what we're capable of." She handed him a tablet. It was showing a news broadcast from Earth. Jake saw images of himself, of Emma and Tom and Lily, of the Iron Fang under human control. The anchor was talking about the greatest military victory in human history. "It's bigger than that," Admiral Brooks said. "Other species are watching. The ones the Vexery conquered. The ones who gave up. They're seeing what humans did. They're starting to wonder if maybe they don't have to stay conquered." Jake understood. The victory was not just about saving Earth. It was about showing the galaxy that the Vexery could be beaten. That any tyrant could be beaten. All it took was the refusal to give up. "What happens now?" Jake asked. "The Vexery fleet is in chaos. Without the Iron Fang, without their weapon, they're retreating. We think they'll want to negotiate peace. They've never lost like this before. They don't know how to handle it." Jake nodded. Peace. It seemed impossible just days ago. Now it was within reach. A week later, Jake stood on Earth again. The sun was shining. The air smelled like home. He was surrounded by reporters, politicians, and cheering crowds. Everyone wanted to shake his hand. Everyone wanted to hear his story. But there was one more meeting he had to attend. Rilith had requested to speak with him. The request surprised everyone. Vexery commanders did not ask for meetings. They demanded. They ordered. They never asked. Jake met her in a secure facility. She was still a prisoner, but she looked different than before. Calmer, thoughtful. "I have been thinking about what you said," Rilith began. "About strength, about mercy, about fighting for others. And I think I understand now. Not completely, but enough." She paused. "My species has been warriors for 10,000 years. We know nothing else. But what you showed me on that ship, it was something different. Something we never considered." "What's that?" "Hope. The prisoners on my ship should have been broken. They should have given up. But they didn't because they believed in something bigger than themselves. They believed in each other. They believed in you." Rilith looked at Jake with something close to admiration. That kind of belief is more powerful than any weapon. Jake was silent. He had not expected this. He had expected anger, hatred, threats, not understanding. "Why did you want to see me?" he asked. "Because I want to propose something. Something that has never happened before." Rilith stood straighter. "I want to help make peace. Real peace. Not just between Vexery and humans, but between all the species in the galaxy." "Why would you do that?" "Because you showed me another way. A better way. My people have been conquerors for so long that we forgot there were other options. You reminded us. Now I want to help build something new." Jake looked at her for a long time. Could he trust her? Should he? She had been his torturer. His enemy. The one who wanted to destroy his home. But people could change. That was what humans believed. That was what made them human. "Okay," he said. "Let's build something new." 6 months later, the first Galactic Peace Conference was held on Earth. Representatives from 50 species attended. Humans, Vexery, and all the others. They talked. They argued. They disagreed. But they also listened. They learned. And slowly, step by step, they began to build a galaxy where strength meant something different than it had before. At the opening ceremony, Jake Miller stood at the podium. Behind him was a banner that showed all 50 species together. In front of him were thousands of beings who had once been enemies. "We're here today because of one simple truth," Jake said. "The galaxy is vast. The challenges we face are enormous. We cannot overcome them by fighting each other. We can only overcome them by standing together." He paused. He looked at Rilith, who sat in the front row. Someone once asked me why humans don't break. Why we get back up no matter how many times we're knocked down. And the answer is simple. We do it for each other. We do it for our families. We do it for the future we believe in. Today, I'm asking all of you to do the same. Whatever species you are, whatever history you have, let's stand up together. Let's build a future worth fighting for. Let's be what humanity has always been, a species that never gives up. The applause started small. Then it grew, louder and louder until it filled the entire hall. Beings who had been enemies cheered together. Beings who had fought wars shook hands.